I have the film producer, Peter Saraf, who is the head of Big Beach, and he produced both films that you're about to see here tonight. And I would like to invite Peter now to say a few words to you guys. Peter?
I just really wanted to say a real thank you to Meira and the festival. Yeah, myself and my colleagues and my company, Big Beach, we produced both the movies you're about to see tonight. It's always been my dream to have a movie at a drive-in. And tonight I get to have two movies at a drive-in. And I want to thank you all for coming. And I want to thank the filmmakers, Yeruba Reichen and Heidi Schreck, who are here tonight and will be talking in between the two movies. There'll be a Q&A after What the Constitution Means to Me with Heidi, and then Yeruba's going to introduce the sit-in. And I love this festival. I've been involved with it from the very beginning, and I love how it's evolved into this amazing answer to the moment that we're in, to the crisis that we're in, that we're able to come together and do this. So thank you all for turning out, and thank you, Meira, for showing both our movies tonight.
I'd like to invite the film's director, Yeruba Richen. I always mispronounce her last name. I'm sorry. Hello, Yeruba. So nice to see you.
So great to be here.
Last time I saw Yeruba, it was when I was watching Democracy Now!, and she was talking about one of her last films that she did about Breonna Taylor. Yeruba is an incredible director and producer and also journalist at times. She has made a film about the Green Book. She has made a film about Breonna Taylor, which was very recent. And she has also made, among other things, the film that you're about to see tonight, The Seat in Harry Belafonte doing The Tonight Show. And Yeruba,
Yes.
so much of the work that you do has socio-political material to it that often has a message to affect change. Can you talk a little bit about what propelled you, first of all, to work on this in the city in the Harry Belafonte film?
So with this film, I actually was approached by the producers. One of the producers, Joan Walsh, had written an article about the week when she discovered this week. It's little known, though widely known. It's kind of both things happening at the same time. And she wrote an article in The Nation about the week, and always knew that she wanted it to be that it could be a documentary. And so they she and the other producers contacted me, and immediately I was intrigued because I had never heard of this week, even though it was such a monumental week.
Yes.
And so I love projects that I didn't know the story before, or that it was such a way to talk about this week, but then to talk about really talk about Harry Belafonte and 1968 and the importance of him hosting the Tonight Show in this pivotal week. So it was immediately intriguing to me.
Well, it was indeed a monumental week. And I know that during your research, some of the material was not in existence anymore. Can you talk a little bit about the process of research and the uncovering of everything, and how you pieced it all together with what you could find and the material that you couldn't find, and how you would support that in other ways?
Yeah, so the good thing is that when we started the documentary, we actually knew that only an hour from that week existed. The hour with Harry talking with Dr. King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and with Robert Kennedy. So we went in with our eyes wide open. We knew that the guests that he had on, which were incredible guests, everyone from Lena Horne and Zero Mastel, Paul Newman, that we could find the great archive of these guests who were artists and activists, and that we could tell the story through the archive.
Right.
So that was how we approached it. So we knew it would be a really deep dive into the archive. But also there were some folks who were still with us. Harry, obviously, and guests like Buffy St. Marie and Petula Clark, who we were Frida Payne, who were able to interview, who could also fill in that week. And then through our, well, I don't want to give it away.
Yes.
There's you have to watch to see how we did the rest of it.
But interesting. So this was such a rare occasion. Has it happened ever again on the Tonight Show that Johnny Carson just relinquished the whole thing for a week to somebody without giving any control and any direction?
I don't know. The only thing that I can think of that would be similar is when Joan Rivers took over the Tonight Show for him. But I don't know, the circumstances of that. But that's the only thing that I see, that he did after that was similar. But certainly this was the first time that an African American host was host of the Tonight Show. And I think it's really important to remember, especially in our days of like 50 million channels and 50 million streaming, that we only had 3 channels then.
Yeah.
So the Tonight Show was one of the most popular shows on television.
Right. Again, one last question. I don't want to give anything away, but if you could encapsulate how you see that particular week affecting the fabric of the society at the time, is there something that you think that you could point out at?
Well, I would just say that, Harry, during this week in 1968, when the country was exploding, the world was exploding, in a political way, in a cultural way, that Harry really brought these sort of hot button issues, the war, race, to a mainstream audience. And that was one of the first times that was done. And now every night we watch and we see these guys, the Jimmies, and one Trevor, and one Samantha, talking about these hot button issues. And really, Harry was the first to do it consistently for a week. So I really think he set that tone.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. So, Yoruba, I know that this film now is on NBC. May I ask what you're working on now before I let you go?
So I'm working on a few things, but my next film actually deals with similar topics. So you just mentioned that during the summer, I made a film for the New York Times called The Killing of Breonna Taylor, which you can see on Hulu, streaming on Hulu and FX On Demand. But my next film is about trailblazing African-American female entertainers. It's called How It Feels to Be Free, and it looks at 6 trailblazing African-American female entertainers and how they reshaped representation for Black women and really set the stage for the kind of renaissance of Black storytelling we're seeing today. And it's going to be on PBS's American Masters in January.
Sounds wonderful. We have to catch that. Thank you so much, Yoruba, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you all over there for joining us tonight here. This is the very last screening of the Woodstock Film Festival at the Greenville Drive-In. Thank you again, Dwight and Lee. Thank you for the hospitality. Thank you, members of our audience, for joining us. Thank you to my staff. Thank you for Big Beach and Peter Saraf for bringing those 2 films to the Woodstock Film Festival. And now, without further ado, enjoy the sit-in Harry Belafonte on The Tonight Show. Thank you so much.
Thank you.